Alright, so thank you guys for coming out. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. We want to thank first and foremost our sponsors, TNT. So that's the fabulous tacos that you're eating. It's tacos and tequila. So we want to thank them. They were great at bringing the food out here and sponsoring it. Also, Noah's event venue. This is a fabulous place. If you haven't been here to one of our events before, they do a lot of special occasion events. So definitely look them up if you're looking for some type of venue. Also, if you were at our last event, just to go over it real quick, and you did not receive our gift certificate that got our mixer last month, please see me after the event tonight. There was just a little bit, I think some people didn't receive them, so please let me know if you did not after the event tonight. Just come over and see me. Alright? I think that's going to be about it. We're going to go ahead and start and go over the agenda. Okay, technical difficulties. Yeah, one more thing we're going to be putting, if you didn't again, put your card in the fishbowl. This is your last chance. I think we have one other fishbowl, right? They're all in here? Okay, we're going to pick 3 people, and you're going to come up here and present your pitch, do your pitch for your business, or whatever your business is, or if you have something that you'd like to share with us. You're going to get 1 minute, all right, to come up here, 3 people. So let's see who the lucky people are. Okay, well, we're going to do our 3 pitches just to give you guys an idea. Then we're all going to be presenting. So we're all going to give you an idea for the theme tonight, which is goal setting. Okay, which is really important if you have not either put your goals down, or maybe you haven't written them down, or maybe you need some strategies on how to set them. This is a great event for tonight to move forward, because if you don't have a goal, you don't know where you're going. It's hard to get there and know where you need to be. Okay, so we'll all be presenting on that. We'll be having some activities as well, and then a SWOT analysis by Peter Boucher. And then we'll be closing it out, okay? So then let's go ahead and do our 3 pitches. Jonathan, would you want to say the last names?
So this person is going to come up. You're going to be given 60 seconds to tell us what you do, what you're looking for, and why we should do business with you. So you have a countdown timer. You have 60 seconds to do that. So Christina Randall, will you please come up?
Come on down.
Round of applause for Christina.
All right, Christina. So you got to tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do. I think I know the last time. You were here last time? 2 times, yeah, 4. So tell us a little bit about what you do, and you have 60 seconds, okay?
Hi, my name is Christina Randall. I'm the president of Education Solutions, and we're based here in San Antonio. And what we do is we help people with their federal student loan debt, and we average between 70 to 90% off of a discount on the entire amount of the student loan debt. So if you or someone you know has student loan debt, please check us out. You can go to myeducationsolutions.com or give us a call. So take out your pens. This is all I'm going to be saying. Take out a pen. 210-979-9447 is our phone number. Again, that's 210-979-9447. Give us a call. We have 14 people that are trained counselors that can help you with your student loan forgiveness. It is absolutely free for you to get a consult. It's also free for you to enroll. 9 out of 10 people that we speak to are overpaying on their student loans by an average of over $400. So please give us a call or let someone you know about it.
Thank you.
Thank you. See, I remember you did a great job last time, too. But I remembered you because you did a great job last time. Okay, so our second presenter.
All right, so it's Mr. Anthony Chambers.
Come on up, Anthony. All right, I like him already. All right, here you go. Okay, so you're going to tell us a little bit about what you do. You're going to have 60 seconds about your fabulous you and what you do. Okay?
I can talk fast. Hi, I'm Anthony Chambers. I am the manager at Texas Relocation Expert. We are apartment locators. I'm a licensed realtor, but we specialize in apartment rentals. Here's the key. This is why you should do business with me. I'm very good at what I do. I'm the best. And I offer free moves. So who knows anyone who needs an apartment? Yeah, exactly. Call me. We work with 95% of the apartment rentals. And again, we offer free moves. So we have an excellent service. Thank you. Anthony Chambers, Texas Relocation.
Guys, movers are expensive, so yeah, that's a great deal. Movers are very expensive. All right, so our next one is
Mr. Peter Broiler with Blue Sky Leadership Consulting. All right.
hi, Peter. Okay, so you're gonna do the same thing. Tell us what this is.
59.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Peter Broiler. Company is Blue Sky Leadership Consulting. I work with business owners and CEOs, and I help leaders lead, and I help leadership teams execute. So we help them to figure out exactly where it is they are going, but more importantly, how are they going to get there? Because so often we plan, we set those goals, but then we fail to execute on and make those goals happen. I can also work with smaller companies. I'm a valued associate for TTI International, and we do a number of different assessments that help leadership teams or smaller groups to understand one another. And when we learn who we are and who our team members are, we can work together much better in that way. And so if you are interested in participating in a survey for free, go to Broiler Consulting, BRAEULER consulting.com, and you can click on the link, and I will be glad to work with you on it.
I think all three of them did great, so that's awesome. So really good job, guys. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go into our presentations, everybody. I'm going to go first. So some of you may already know I'm a fitness specialist as well. If you don't know my background, I've been in fitness for over 24 years. So a very long time. I started when I was 12. And, not really, but. So, as you can see, I'm also a fitness competitor, but I'm a fitness specialist. I've done corporate wellness. I worked for the Air Force for 8 years as a community center director, and then also most of those years training Air Force airmen and women, and also doing some marine conditioning classes. So helping the military stay healthy, set their goals, and pass their PT tests, and helping the community. I also worked for the Valera Corporation here in town as a fitness specialist, and I was the Director of Health and Wellness for the Zachary Corporation. So I am now, I'm the owner of StayFitStayFierce.com, and I work with a lot of individuals, all fitness levels, athletes. I work with competitors. The majority of my people that I train and work with or do boot camps or lunch and learns are people that just want to be healthier, live better lives. Okay, so that's my main goal. The competition part of it pushes me, it challenges me to push myself and have a goal for myself. As a matter of fact, just last night, I got done competing in Vegas in August, and I'm still exercising, taking care of myself, but kind of not hitting it as hard. Well, last night I found out there's a new competition date in April, so now I have a new goal date. So I've set it. It's 7 months out, but it's never too soon to start. Okay. So we're all going to be talking about setting goals. And pretty much for me, we all have dreams. There's a big difference between dreams to goals. And it's very important to have the goals. And I tell my clients all the time, what's your goal? What are you looking to do? To strengthen, to lose weight, to feel better, lower your cholesterol? It's always having a goal. Even if you're in business, whether it's your health, if you don't figure that out, then you kind of don't know which direction you're going. Okay, so I'm really and turning your dreams, setting them to goals, and then putting a date on them. So 3 years ago, one of the things I go over with my clients is, where were you 3 years ago? So if maybe they were stronger, how many of us have always said, when I was in high school, or when I was in college, okay, so if we were maybe faster, or maybe had healthier levels as far as maybe cholesterol, high blood pressure, then we look at where we are now. And if we haven't done better, then if you keep repeating those patterns and keep living the same way, 3 years from now, it's going to be a little bit worse as well. Perfect example, if you gain 10 pounds in 3 years, it's not a lot. It's only about 3.3 pounds a year, right? You would never notice that in 1 month. 3.3 pounds in a year is maybe, what, 0.2 pounds a month? So, but over the next 3 years, if you don't change your habits, it's again another 10 pounds. So that's where you start seeing the changes come in. By the way, I'm going to be asking you guys, how are y'all doing? Because I need to hear y'all know that you're awake. Okay, so how are y'all doing? Good. All right, so what are your goals? Do you want more financial stability? Okay. Do you want a better home, more family time, better health? Yes, Rhonda Rusix is one of my, fitness role models. You always have to have something in mind. For me, whatever your why may be. For me, I absolutely want to spend more time with my family. Absolutely. That's my number one. But that also pushes me to work harder and try to find more financial stability as well. So one kind of is connected to the other, as you can see even with the home. So everything's connected. But I will tell you, my health is number one because it all starts with me. And if I don't take care of me, nothing else is going to fall into place. Okay, so first figure that out. All right, so are your goals, one of the things is, are your goals vague? Unrealistic, plan. And the reason I say unrealistic, and any other, I know there's some fitness people in here, they'll know what I'm talking about. I'll have someone come up to me and go, Krista, you've got to help me. I got to lose like 15 pounds. I'm like, okay, well, 15 pounds, I'm going on a cruise in 2 weeks. Like, okay, we can do some things, but I don't know if it's going to be 15 pounds. You've got to make them realistic. So if you're looking to whether either lose weight or maybe launch a business, you really have to look at a realistic time frame and also start planning ahead. Just like I mentioned, I found out in April, and even though I have so many other things going on, work, my kids, their activities, and so forth, I still have to keep on the back of my mind, April is around the corner. 7 months. That's less than a year. So I have to start and really plan on my eating habits, my meal prep, and my workouts. So you got to make them realistic, guys, and plan them out. Are they attainable? Again, it goes with the same thing. Are they realistic? Attainable? Are they going to be able to be sustained? In other words, if sometimes find people who get on these crazy diets or maybe not eating or something, the thing is you can't live like that. So same thing with every other aspect in your life. If you can't sustain it for a long period of time, what's going to come easy is going to go really quick too. So if you lose the weight really quick, you're probably going to gain it back really quick. Okay? So keep that in mind. And meaningful. Why do you want to do it? If most of the time, it's always how we feel about ourselves. So if we feel good, we start thinking good, we start thinking better, our self-worth increases. So you have to keep those things in mind, and if it's meaningful, why do you want to do it? And some of you may know, I also have to take care of myself because I have Hashimoto's disease with hypothyroid, and I have a heart murmur, and I'm pre-diabetic. So I'm all that. As much as I take care of myself and as healthy as I eat, if I didn't take care of myself, it'd be a lot worse. So that's why it's meaningful for me, because I have a family history. So I want to avoid falling into those chronic diseases that could get worse. Okay. All right, so summon your resources. And what I mean by this is, Never have we had so many resources available to us, right? And this is going to go for everything. It could go for business, it can go for exercise, fitness. We have gyms, we have DVDs, we have parks where they have boot camps, we have YouTube. Yes, there's YouTube trainers. YouTube, and we have so many resources. We have tons and tons of books on eating healthy, on taking care of yourself, all right? All those resources, but still, 69% of Americans are obese or overweight, okay? 1 in 3 children are overweight or obese. And then heart disease is the leading cause of death. So this, to me, the only thing that it really shows sometimes is that we're not taking advantage of our resources. By getting you guys being here tonight is fantastic because we have the theme of goal setting. The fact that y'all are here shows that you're serious. You want to, strategize with other people, like-minded people who are going to help you set your goals. So, thank you. So we have so many resources to take advantage of, and if you have them, I highly encourage you to do it. The other thing is also, if you're able to invest in yourself, whether it be through a class, a coach, a program, a workshop, do it. Invest in yourself where it's going to help you. Because we invest in so many other things. We invest in renovating our home. We invest in detailing our cars. And ladies, we spend a lot of money on our hair. Yes? So, I know. So we do all this investment in a lot of the exterior, but we need to invest in ourselves to take care of ourselves. And again, it could be whatever goal that you may have on your plate, okay? So just keep those things in mind. And those with children, one of the things I always really target, and this was in 2008, I went to the American College of Sports Medicine Conference, and they stated that currently, at the rate we're going, most of the children in the U.S. will not outlive their parents. And that is mostly not that they're not going to outlive their parents right now, but like, let's say someone's parent died at 60, more than likely that child will not live past 60. Okay, so just again, something really important, just with everything else, you pass it on to your children. All right, so plan it, write it, post it. So one of the big things I tell my clients when I'm about to start torturing them, training them, is you've got to let others know about it, okay? And that means your family, your partners, your kids, your coworkers, your friends, you've got to let them know what you're doing. Whether, again, it be with business or your health and fitness, whatever it is, you've got to explain to them what you're doing right now, what your goal is. And you want to give yourself a timeline, right? Maybe in 1 month, let's say you want to say, you give yourself, I want to lose 4 pounds, 5 pounds in a month. Let's say you want to lose 10 pounds. Or even more so, you have to drink a lot of water when you're trying to take care of yourself. So I tell people, if you try to shoot for, let's say 80 ounces of water a day, that's 4 20-ounce bottles. So you want to keep track of that. Give yourself a timeline. You know, by 7 p.m. tonight, I'm going to drink 80 ounces of water, okay? Again, be realistic. Be prepared to invest. Like I mentioned, invest in a coach, a trainer, a workshop, whatever it may be, an online training, whatever it may be. And this is going to apply to, like I mentioned, fitness, business, wellness, just everything in general. The biggest example I give is if an NFL player makes the NFL, a football player makes the NFL, he doesn't say, okay, that's it, I don't need any coaches. If anything, he gets more coaches. Okay, so always keep that in mind. You want to plan and prep. So a lot of times people will ask, Nurse, so how do you do it? You must eat rabbit food all the time. Like, oh no, I eat a lot. 5 times a day I'm eating, but I take about 2 hours out of my Sunday and I make all my protein for the week. And then I have vegetables and carbs as well, but I at least prep everything on a Sunday. and get it ready for the week. So I have it ready to go. So same thing, whatever it is that you're planning, have a goal for, plan it out. How are you guys doing? Okay, you're awake. Okay, surround yourself with support. So you want to surround yourself with people who support you. And not just say that they're going to support you, but actually support you. And that means they're not pushing you to do something else. They're not pulling you away to do something else. Supporting you in every possible way. Okay? That's important. One thing I wanted to show you real quick. Some tips. Can you hold that for me, please? Thank you. Okay, this is just, I did one of these probably 2 years ago. Before that, I did it 3 years before that. It's a dream board. What you do, I know it looks very elementary, okay, but get yourself a board, cut some stuff out, put stuff on it. For me, it's like some goals that you have for yourself. My kids, there's a picture of my kids that have time, money, experience, what I'd like to have. I want to get, you know, what all fitness people say, I want more size and strength, of course. I want to inspire others. And at the very bottom, I need more sleep, which I do. A better home. So those are all really important, and it's a big reminder. I used to have them up all the time, and I'll admit, I'm guilty that I hadn't done one in 2 years, so I need to update it. The other thing, so I bought myself a little whiteboard. I can't have a gigantic whiteboard in my home, but you can have these at work. You can have these at home. And one of the things is, like I mentioned, if one of your goals is more water for the day, I carry around a water bottle. It's 32 ounces. So I drink one, you can mark it off. 2, mark it off. 3, mark it off. And that way you're keeping track of yourself. And it helps tremendously. I'll tell you what, when I'm not gonna lie, if I don't write something down, even if it's on a small notepad on the refrigerator, I'm gonna forget. I will. I call it the mommy syndrome. It's not an excuse, but. And limit your exceptions. And this is a big one. Okay, so what I mean by that is sometimes you're on a roll, and you tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna go out to eat with my friends this weekend. I deserve it. You went to the gym 5 days out of the week. Let's say you burned 400 calories. That's good, right? 400 calories when you work really hard? Okay, right? That's pretty good? Okay. 400 calories, went 5 days a week, you burned 2,000 calories. Now mind you, you're burning calories all day long, moving around, walking to your car. But at the gym, you burned your 400 calories, that's 2,000. You go out to dinner with friends, and what else? In San Antonio, you go eat Mexican food. So you sit down and you have a basket of chips. Basket of chips is 500 calories. Yes, there's a lot of them over there. I don't want to know how many baskets. There is sweet potato though. But, so usually it's not just one basket, right? If it's 4 people, it ends up being 2 baskets. So it's 1,000 calories. So then you're like, oh man, I had a rough week. I deserve a margarita. Medium, and actually that's wrong, I'm sorry, that's a misprint. It's actually 800 to 900 calories for a medium, okay? I should have put 800 to 900, I put 500, I just saw that. Sorry about that. Yes, it's 800 to 900. So then your entree, let's say your entree is about 1,100. So if you look at it from that standpoint, again, let's say 800 on the margarita, that's 2,400 calories at one dinner. Okay, so that's where I mean, like sometimes you tell yourself, I'm going to have one cheat meal every weekend. Okay, and whatever it may be that you're making an exception for, when you get off track, it can really throw you back. So you may have taken 2 steps forward, but you took 1 big step back. Okay, so you've got to stay determined. Don't give up. You always want to take a chance. Sometimes whatever your goal may be, you may think, that's impossible, I'll never get there. Don't think that. You got to stay strong about it. This individual, when I mentioned stay determined and stay strong, I had the wonderful opportunity of meeting him in Houston 2 weeks ago. His name is Zach Rule. And I don't know if you can see too well, but he has no legs. Okay? He's 25 years old, and he's a phenomenal gentleman. And wonderful attitude, very positive personality, and he's a CrossFit coach. 25, not only is he a CrossFit coach, but he opened his own box, so he's an entrepreneur. So he pushed himself to do that. He also, while he was in high school, was so determined, he played football. And I'll have a video for the whole interview on my YouTube channel, Stay Fit, Stay Fierce with Marissa, my shameless plug. So you can watch it, but it was truly unbelievable and such an honor to meet him because he had such passion. So I'm going to show you a real quick video, and it's basically pretty much how bad do you want it. Whoops, how did I go back? Sorry about that, guys. There we go. So as you can see, he's doing box jumps. And then he turns around and asks us, "You want me to do more?" We're like, "Yeah, we didn't get that." But he is absolutely, I mean, it was just amazing. And that's what I mean, is how bad do you want it? Because we can always make excuses about whatever it is we're reaching for. I'm tired, it's cold outside, when I have more money, when I feel better about myself, there can always be an excuse. This guy makes no excuses for himself. All right, our next presenter is Jeremy McGilvery, and he can tell you a little more.
Thank you, Narissa. I know that each of us will be looking forward to. Excuse me.
That clicker is very sensitive. How y'all doing? Good. No, louder next time.
Now, I was going to say, the interview Narissa did with this young man, 25 years old, overcoming setback after setback, challenges, and he's a 25-year-old entrepreneur. And so a great question to ask ourselves is, what's stopping us? I think a lot of people give up too easy on their dreams. The first thing I want to say is thank you. A lot of people don't see enough value in themselves to add value to themselves. They don't believe they're worth investing in. So I appreciate y'all coming out here, and I promise you, in life, sometimes all it takes is one idea to turn everything around. And I feel very confident with some of the exercises we're going to do tonight, you're going to get more than one idea that's going to help you either get back on track or turbocharge where you're going with your life. I want to share with you personally some of the things that helps me set and achieve my goals, along with some of the mistakes I see people make when it comes to goal setting. But before I do, I want to do a quick little exercise. If you'll notice on your table, and I know some of my type A people wanted to open the envelope, but you'll find something that says do not open. Please grab that envelope. Okay, you got it? Everybody in there has a different type of piece of paper. However, I want you to find the same letter. You're all looking for F. Go ahead and open it, since I already hear you opening it, and I'm going to give you 30 seconds to count the F's inside. Go. Ten seconds, guys. It's just a very short passage. Okay? 2, 1. Go ahead and put it down, please. Show of hands, how many people found more than 3 Fs? 4 or more. How many people found more than 5? How many people found more than 6 Fs on their sheet of paper? Hands up as high as you can get them. More than 6, more than 7? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, who had more than 6? Hands up high. I think 3 people out of all the folks here. There's 6 Fs on that piece of paper in front of you. Go ahead and look at it. Our subconscious mind does not register the word of. And this is one of the most important factors. And you thought David Copperfield was good. This is very important. This is very, very, very important. The things that could be in your life right now, the circumstances, the resources, the people, the opportunities could be right in front of you, and you don't see it. There's something that many of us probably know well about called the law of attraction. It was made famous by a book, The Secret, later becoming a movie. And what the law of attraction pretty much is like attracts like. We think about what we want, and these magical voodoo things happen. That's actually not the case. The law of attraction is much simpler than you would ever imagine. But because our brains are hardwired not to take in all the information we find, we have sensories that blocks the majority of it out. Just like your mind did when you looked at that piece of paper and you couldn't find the F's. And so the law of attraction, when you think about what do I want in life? What do I want? What am I trying to achieve? Where am I trying to go? What is it going to take to get me to live the life of my dreams? You've got to be specific, and you have to find it, you have to measure it, you have to be able to get the results. Keyword, results. You hear the well-worn passage about people go by a car and they see that car everywhere on the road. That's because their mind is now open to see that car. I have a client in Houston, new father. He says, everywhere I go, Jeremy, I see baby strollers. The mall, the park. Nothing changed. Those baby strollers were there all along. Now he sees them. And that's why one of the most important things that you can do on goal setting is figure out exactly what you want. And there's not a person on the planet that can do that for you. Not your friend, not your spouse, not your parents, not a mentor, not even a coach. You have to figure out what you want yourself. And once you figure out what you want, you have to write it down. It's a bit difficult to explain all the science behind committing your goals to paper, but it's very important to put pen to paper, and you're going to have an opportunity to do that in a workshop we're going to do here in a few minutes. Brian Tracy says, unless your goals are in writing, they're nothing more than wishes and fantasies. And Moses in the 10 Commandments says, let it be written, let it be done. They wrote this stuff down. Probably the foremost expert on goal setting is Jim Rohn. I learned much of what I'm going to teach you over the next few minutes from Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, some of the legends of this business. And I want to share a quick 80s video of Jim Rohn talking to his mentor, Bill Shelf, about goal setting.
Mr. Shelf taught me how to set goals. What a favor that was. One morning at breakfast shortly after I met him, he said, Jim, let me see your current list of goals, and let's go over and talk about them. He said, maybe that's the best way I can help you get a better direction started. And I said, I don't have a list. He said, well, is it out in the car or home somewhere? I said, no, sir. I don't have a list anywhere. He said, well, young man, that's where we got to start. He said, I can tell you right now, if you don't have a list of your goals with you, he said, I can guess your bank balance within a few $100s. Which he did. And change if I had a list of goals? He said, drastically. That day, I became a willing student how to set goals.
There's nothing else more important you can do with your life than get your goals down on a piece of paper in front of you. Where people go wrong, though, one of the mistakes I see in goal setting is they get them written down, and now they want to get busy starting and going out and achieving what it is that they're after. A lot of business coaches call it the art of the start. Get going, shift, and pivot moving forward. And I agree with some of that, but not all of it. I love the quote by Steve Jobs that says, details matter. It's worth waiting to get it right. And the details, to me, are in the plans. You've got to plan your life out because all too often people are out there working their tails off and they're not getting anywhere. It's akin to running on a treadmill. You're wearing yourself out and you're staying in the exact same place. Because these days, there is absolutely nothing more common than a hardworking, unsuccessful person. I know people that get up and hit it hard all day long, from the moment their eyeballs open until they close. Then they go to bed at night and wonder, what exactly did I achieve? These are the people who confuse busyness with significance and motion with meaning. And they do this because they don't plan their days out. Successful people methodically attack their days. They go to bed at night knowing what they're going to work on the next day because there's studies out of San Diego School of Medicine that talks about our subconscious mind goes to work while we're asleep, helping us come up with solutions to problems that we have. One of the keys to my success is mapping out exactly what I need to do. A question I ask myself sometimes is, what's the most important thing I could be doing right now? I'll ask it to myself several times during the day. And it will be very rare that I won't have a place where I can go look to find a plan or a strategy. The last week, putting this event together, getting all y'all to show up here and baffle you with my F exercise, this is my plan that I wrote out that you'll see dates. Because the difference between a dream, a desire, and a goal is it's time tested. If I just said, I'm going to send an email out when I get time, things come up. None of us have extra time. So it has to be a time tested. And I highly recommend, on the back of your handout you have in front of you, there's something called resources. Mindmeister.com. It'll give you 3 free plans. Go in there, figure out what it's going to take to get you to where you're trying to go, and map out a plan. Map out a strategy. Next, in the back of your resources, it also says, I use a passion planner. Right here. I'm well versed in technology. However, I like to write it down the old-fashioned way, track it and follow it. Because you know why a lot of people don't succeed in life? They spend major time on minor things. And that's really important so you can track what you're spending your time on. And you're going to have to time block time to work on your goals. Don't answer this question, but think about it. How many people in here today spend time working on their goals? Spend time working on their goals. That's very, very important. You have a determined plan and you're working on a direction you're going. Otherwise, you're wearing yourself out and you're not getting anywhere. I love this quote by Winston Churchill. He says, however beautiful the strategy, you should occasionally look at the results. This is where you pivot. This is where you look at your plan and say, am I getting the results that I'm after? Because we've all made our plans. And a lot of people say, I don't plan because it never works. And I'm here to tell you, I teach, plans don't always work. However, planning does. And when you're trying to get from point A to point B, in our mind, we see it as a straight line. Nothing can be further from the truth. And the bigger the goal you're going after, the bigger the obstacles you're going to have to overcome. And those obstacles aren't there to keep you out. They're there to see how bad you want it. And that's important. Something that's important when it comes also to achieving goals is you need accountability partners. You need people to make you do the things that you don't want to do. And I believe Colton's going to discuss that in a little bit, something called a WAM, a weekly accountability meeting. And it's definitely a secret when it comes to succeeding in life, is finding people to help hold you accountable. Because these days, we are addicted to distractions. Social media, email, text messaging. And there's a study out of Michigan that says it takes us 13 to 19 minutes to get back on track after we get distracted. Get distracted 6 times during the day, you lose 2 hours. You don't have 2 hours. So that's 10 hours in a week, and it continues to compound and build. Focus is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more you discipline yourself, the stronger it will get. The less you use it, the weaker it will get. And I like to tell people, when you can control what you're spending your attention on, you can control your life. There's a quote that I saw not long ago that we're prisoners to our cell phones. Make sense? I tell people, one of the secret ingredients to succeeding in life, if you consistently have done something and not gotten the results you're after, you hire a coach. You find a mentor. And there's 3 things I say coaches do for people. Coaches have conversations with you that you don't want to have, but you need to. And coaches do make you do things that you may not want to do, but you need to. And a coach helps you become something you didn't think you could become. Coaching 101. Sit down with your client and extract what their unique gift is. Because every one of you have something unique that you're supposed to bring to this world. And a coach's job is to help you find that, develop that, and then display it. And the way coaches do it is we help you find direction. We outline the steps it's going to take you to get from where you are to where you're trying to go. Because too often there's people in life that are wandering generalists, is what I say. And Alice, from the movie Alice in Wonderland, is a beautiful example. Watch this.
Now let's see. Where was I? I wonder which way I ought to go.
You want to get to... Well, it really doesn't matter. As long as I... Then it really doesn't matter which way you go.
It doesn't matter which way you go if you don't know where you're going. If you shoot for nothing, you'll hit every time. One of the mistakes people make when it comes to setting goals is they look at them as these daunting, complicated tasks. But if you will break them down into bite-sized pieces and not get overwhelmed when you understand how much work it's going to take you to get to where you're trying to go. Because with all of goals, I tell people, by the yard, goals are hard. But by the inch, your goals are a cinch. Thank you. Peter Boucher is going to be the next person that comes up and talks about goal setting. Peter is the owner of Boss Creative and probably one of the most integral parts of our mastermind group with helping us stay on task. He'll grab a whiteboard in 1 second and lay out, do this, 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 and this, and you'll get to where you're trying to go. So thank you so much, Peter Boucher, for being a part of the San Antonio Mastermind, the value add to us, and I'm very excited to see your presentation.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hey guys! Thank you all for coming. This is so exciting. And I want to ask you a quick little question. Any of you guys set a goal to come here today? Thank you for achieving that goal. All of you. Congratulations. Isn't it awesome? Doesn't it feel great? You've achieved something. You set it in stone. You made a choice. You made a decision. You understood why you were making that choice. And you made it happen. Thank you, each and every one of you, for coming here. Big round of applause. Today's small piece that I wanted to share with you is in regards to the ultimate goal of setting goals, which is basically what's at the end of the road. It's something called destiny. Big, vague, and very, very broad word, but it kind of means a lot. And we're going to study this together quite clearly. Let's dive in. One thing that I like to get inspired by is by the people who have achieved so much. And one quote that kind of fits in really well with what we're discussing, what we're talking about today, is how you clearly define your dreams. What are those dreams about? Where are they taking you and why? One great quote that I really enjoy is by Mr. Richard Branson: "If your dreams don't scare you, they are just too small." Pretty ambitious, isn't it? Now, the one thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is the point? Why would you care to set a goal or have a dream? First and foremost, you're worth it. You better believe it. It is true. If you don't, who will? You are worth it. The people around you are worth it. The people you are touching, you're connecting with, you're influencing their lives are worth it. So it is not only your duty, but it's your responsibility to take that very seriously. Another question I had for you is, all those very successful people, this is something that when I kind of realized that a while back, it made me realize that, oh my God, all those people that we hear about all the time, the Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musks, etc., how many hours in the day do they have? Yeah. What were they able to accomplish? And how? It's by setting good goals and making sure that they never, ever go away or run away from their dreams. Their dreams are locked in stone, and it is what it takes. They're going to do whatever it takes to make those dreams happen. One saying goes, you judge a tree by... Thank you. We've heard this several times. When we bring value to the people around us, when we bring value to ourselves, when we achieve goals, you have a great example today. You have produced fruit. You are worth more than you were by accomplishing those goals and delivering this fruit. A couple of questions. How many lives have you inspired? What have you produced? What have you generated through your company, your career, or your family? All of those questions are very important whenever you're clearly defining your dreams and setting your goals. Keep that in mind. I would like to share with you a simple process on how we make decisions. Remember the first event we had several months ago, whenever we were doing the first mastermind event? Remember when we were sharing that the eye cannot see what the mind doesn't comprehend? Well, this is something called philosophy. Your philosophy, your understanding of a situation, of life, will dictate your perception of that situation and of that specific kind of instance that you're working towards. This perception that you have will automatically dictate your emotions and your logic. And based on that, you make the decision and you set goals. After that, obviously, you take action to reach those goals and you implement the milestones and you implement the strategies to get to those goals, which determines your destiny. Small little recipe, but keep that in mind. Meaning that whenever you're setting goals, whenever you're defining your dreams, it's important to get educated about it, learn about it. Where are you going? What are you trying to do and why? Who are you trying to inspire? Who are you trying to improve their lives? Yourself and the people around you. Have you heard of Tony Robbins? Pretty sure if you're here today, most of you guys have heard of Tony Robbins. One of his great quotes is, "It is in the moment of decision that your destiny is shaped." If you go back to the previous slide, that's how it works. Your destiny is a big deal. This is, at the end of the road, what we have been able to accomplish, what we're leaving behind, the legacy, how many people we've embittered their lives with. It's pretty awesome. And it's, again, big responsibility. Do we really need goals? Of course not. We can go and survive and drift away through our sailing boat without adjusting our sails, but at the same time, whenever you do set your goals, they become the essence of life. It gives a new meaning to what we do, how we do it, why we do it, to what direction we do it, and why we are here. It gives a meaning. Life gets a flavor to it. It's pretty awesome. We're going to share some very powerful exercises with you guys very, very, very shortly. And you're going to see how simple and how powerful it is to set goals and define your dreams. Now, with all that said, where do we go from here? How many choices do we have? Be very, very careful not to get stuck in the catch-22. Well, I have too many choices. How about if I just don't do anything? Wrong answer. We are here to focus, like Jeremy shared with us. We are here to prioritize, and we are here to follow our dreams. Our dreams that will allow us to grow ourselves and deliver more value to the people and everything around us. I would like to share with you what I like to call the good, the bad, and the nonsense. Basically, there are good goals that you can do that will be life-changing, that will allow you to grow your company, grow yourself, grow your career, etc., etc. And there are other goals that you have to be really careful before putting them on your list that are basically time wasters. Time vacuum TV. Destructive goals, counterproductive goals, and obviously the nonsense that basically are not relevant to anything that you have set forth. This is a very simple example, but going into a Walmart parking lot and aligning all the cars will probably be really hard. We're going to work really hard, but what is the point? If there's no point out of that goal, don't set it. It's not yours. Walk away. Think of a better idea, a better dream, a better direction to set. A small little 3-step process that I like to use that have been established really well by a lot of the very, very successful people that we all know throughout history. Dream set is number 1. What is your dream? Define it. Hold on to it. The dream is the target at the end of the day. After you have determined your dream, the goal is basically the direction on how to get there. Lock it in. And once you do, you set your mind to it. Because setting your mind to it will allow you to hell or high water, excuse my French, hell or high water, it is going to happen. Not only it is going to happen, it is done. As soon as you set that goal is done. So when you choose the goals, like I shared with you, so many directions, so many back and forth, so many options, so many priorities, so little time. All our time is counted. Choose wisely. Then what's next? What's next is, the past have taught you and brought you to where you are. You're not going that way anymore. You're going forward. Remember that. You learn from it, you grow through it, and you mold the present to set the dreams and the goals to go forward and own your destiny through it. Like I shared with you, you dream set, you goal set, you mindset. Dream set, you see it. You goal set, you believe it, and you believe it so hard that in your mind it's actually done. It is done. You're there. You have succeeded for your company. You have purchased that vehicle. You have influenced all those people. And the only thing that's between you physically and time stamp wise to where that goal is just effort and time. Period. But in your mind, it is done. This is critical whenever you're setting goals. And it's non-negotiable, by the way. I'd like to share with you, I'm pretty sure you've heard of this very simple book that has traveled through history for, actually, I think it's 50 BC. Is it? The Art of War, written by a Chinese philosopher. And at the end of the day, he sums it up in one quote. One quote. Remember when I was just sharing with you guys, it is done? Correct. The battle is won before it begun. In your mind, it is already completed. So congratulations. Obviously, you've seen that the possibilities are there. Moving forward, you will obviously have roadblocks. You will have growing opportunities, as I like to call them, but there is nothing that's impossible. The only thing that's holding you back is your imagination and basically the tools that you have access to that can be grown, altered, modified, and replaced in order to move forward towards your goals and reaching and achieving your dreams. Have you heard of this gentleman? Mr. Elon Musk, who started PayPal a long time ago, sold it for a nice chunk of change and started 2 companies, and he had a dream. He had a dream to have an electric car that would not only be affordable, but would also be something that people could use and be effective. And at the same time, he started his SpaceX company. That's one of his very, very popular quotes. Unless he is dead or incapacitated, he keeps going, no matter what it takes. You can read some of his bios, what he's gone through, but once he set a goal, nothing will stop him. Absolutely nothing will stop him until it is reached. And you hear him every day in the news, and you know what? Certain things happen that will be bumps in the road. no pun intended. Certain things happen that will hold him back for whatever reason. But you know what? We'll walk through it, we'll grow through it, and we'll modify anything and everything it takes in order to achieve that dream. And he is changing the world, one electric car at a time. So, another quote from Tony Robbins again. If you can't, because a lot of us, we are human. If you can't, then you must, because you've reached an opportunity to grow through. If you can't, then you must. And if you must, then voila, you can. To summarize, dream bigger than what you can imagine. You are worth it. Believe it. That's non-negotiable. How much time do we have? Everybody's time is counted. And we are going to achieve and we're going to deliver fruit for everything, every second that we have in order to leave a legacy behind and change lives, ourselves and the ones around us. Understanding how you're making decision is a big deal. Is a very, very important part. Remember, understanding, perceiving, decision-making, taking action in that molds your destiny. Goals are the essence of life. Very important. Dream set, goal set, mindset. It's a simple recipe that you need to remember. Follow your dreams. The battle is won before it begun. And remember, the goal, once it's set, it is already done in your mind. Nothing will stop it. Giving up does not exist. And again, I'll repeat, you can, each and every one of you. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I would love to introduce the next speaker who has joined our mastermind panel, an incredible executive who has been in the corporate world for over 10 years and owns multiple companies in many fields. Mr. Colton, congratulations for being here.
Thank you, Peter. So first of all, I just want to thank everybody for showing up. Like, you've heard a bunch of common themes here tonight. The fact that you took the time to invest in yourself, to show up, it shows a lot about the quality of the caliber of person you are, the quality of people you are. Most people, 99% of the people out there will not come out on a Tuesday night to an event like this to pay good money, to invest in themselves, to listen to panel speakers, and to improve themselves. So you should all give yourselves a big hand for showing up, first of all. And being part of this group has been absolutely fantastic. If you guys really knew how hard everybody in this group worked to put this on for you, it's just really been overwhelming to see the effort and moving forward. So what I'm going to talk about tonight is a little bit of a different twist. You're going to hear some common themes about commitment, vision, execution. I think Peter from Blue Sky talked about execution earlier. And so I'm actually talking about the execution solution. So we all know that knowledge is incredibly powerful. And like Narissa said earlier, there's no shortage of knowledge out in the world. I mean, we live in the most knowledge-rich age in human history. But knowledge is only good if you actually act upon it, you actually do something with it. So, how many of you recognize this? So, start of the year, and this will be familiar to Narissa. So we're all very good at setting a bunch of goals, and we've all probably heard some goal speeches throughout our lives. And so we all set New Year's resolutions and we set a bunch of goals, but what happens? A few months later, they move on, you get distracted with other things, and it starts to look like this. So it goes back to about February, that gym starts looking like that again. So a few weeks ago, I was introduced to a fantastic book. If you have not picked it up, the word game changer is really kind of a cliche, but this is really worth your time. I'd write it down, get it off of audible.com, the iTunes bookstore. Has anybody in the room read this yet? Excellent. So anybody who's read it, you can attest to exactly how powerful this book is. You'll read probably the first 10 pages and go, wow, this is just mind-blowing. So what I'm going to try and do is just basically, for time constraints, we can't get real heavy into the details of this, but I would like to just kind of whet your beak with some of the principles from the 12-week year. And it's all about actions, because actions delineate and they define you. So I promised I wouldn't do this, but I'm going to include a before and an after picture of myself. So that is me about 5 years ago before I started working out. And as Narissa pointed to earlier, she had a slightly different figure. She said 69%. But 65% of Americans are overweight. Now, how many people in here think that that's a knowledge problem? Does anybody think that it's hard to find information off of Google, anywhere, even coming and getting Narissa on how to lose weight? I mean, everybody knows in here, eat less calories, eat healthier, and exercise, right? So then why is the majority, I mean, 2/3 of our population are overweight? It's not about knowledge, it's about execution. And so as Peter talked earlier about execution, everybody can come up with a plan, but if you don't execute on it, it's completely worthless. And so the premise of the 12-week year is, how many people in here have ever had to cram for a test or a business assignment or something that had to be done the next day? Exactly. And so wasn't it amazing, some impossible task that you didn't think you could get done, how quickly you could get it done and actually achieve it when there was a deadline? So the problem with traditional goals, and this is my after picture, thank you. That was me in college. I was a full halter. I cut my hair and gained a couple pounds back. Thank you. But the premise of annualized thinking is really a flawed premise. So if there's no deadline, there's no sense of urgency, we set our goals in January, and what comes about in February? We procrastinate. We're natural procrastinators. We procrastinate. We don't take any action because we think, I've got all the time in the world. I've got till, I'll start this in February. I'll start this in March. I'll start this. And then before we know it, it's October, it's November. And so what do? We wipe the slate clean, and everybody on New Year's Eve sets up a whole new set of goals, and we start fresh every year. So what started in the 1970s with Eastern European athletic, or Olympic athletes, well, they started with the concept of periodization. Now, does anybody remember 70s and 80s Olympic Eastern European athletes, like East Germany, Romania? Anybody remember watching the Olympics? Some of those East German women could crush my head right now without even thinking about it. I mean, they were beasts. And so the idea behind periodization was taking a specific goal, a specific talent, a specific thing you wanted to work on, and focusing on it for 4 to 6 weeks intently. And you didn't move on to anything else until you had perfected that. So you spent a very focused amount of time working on one thing and developing it. So that's kind of the basis of the 12-week year. So basically it's going into, and we'll get into real quickly, the structure and the execution. And so this is one of my favorite slides. This represents me every single day. My brain works until I get into work. So basically the 12-week year is broken up into, real easily for time's sake, 3 principles, 5 disciplines, and 1 cycle. And it all goes back again to action, because an ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. We can stand up here all day long and tell you about how to set goals. You heard some fantastic stuff from Narissa, Jeremy, Peter, and Jonathan will deliver some fantastic stuff. You're going to have an exercise later. But if you walk out of here at the end of this and you take that pamphlet and you throw it in the back of your car, or you throw it on your desk, or it gets stuffed somewhere, then everything you did here tonight, everything we talked about is useless. It's all about action and executing on it. So we'll get into the 3 principles. The first and most important is accountability. So this is basically holding yourself accountable. When you go through the 12-week year, you're going to be planning out a certain set of goals, typically 3 for 12 weeks, and all you're going to do is set tactics and set actions to achieve those goals in those 12 weeks. The most important part is you have to be self-aware enough to be accountable to yourself, that if you're going to be required to score yourself. If you only got to 50% of your goals, you don't want to lie to yourself, and as Jeremy mentioned, the weekly accountability meeting or accountability partners, you don't want to lie to yourself and say, oh, I did 85%. If you only did 50, you need to own up to that and know so that you can improve. And the second is commitment. Commitment's a well-worn knowledge in setting goals. If you don't commit to what you're going to do, then you're obviously going to fail. When things get tough, you're going to fail. One of the more interesting to me was the concept of greatness in the moment. So let me ask you, how many of you think that somebody's achieved greatness when they've hit their goal, when they become a champion, when they become a success in business? How many people think that that's when they hit their goal? Or when they achieve greatness? This is actually, you know what actual greatness is? Greatness happens when nobody's looking. Greatness happens when Jeremy's staying up at midnight working on his presentation while everybody else is out drinking. Greatness is when Narissa is still working out or getting up early when nobody's looking. Greatness happens when nobody's looking. It's in the preparation. Michael Phelps didn't become the greatest swimmer in Olympic history the day that he won his 16th gold medal. He became the greatest swimmer in history when he worked harder than everybody else, when he hit the gym when he didn't want to, when he followed through. That's when greatness happens. And the reason it's brought up in the 12-week year is because, as we all know, you're going to go through ups and downs in business. Everybody in here is in business, correct? Everybody here is alive. So has anybody been on a steady, straight line to the top, or is it more of that kind of waving up and down, and we've all been through it? That greatness in the moment is keeping in mind that what you are doing now will pay off in the end, and you're going towards a goal. To look at yourself as your greatness is actually right now. Just by being here, you guys have already achieved greatness because you're doing something that most people won't. And so when you eventually, each and every one of you hit your goal, hit your target, succeed, that will just be the icing on the cake. Your greatness is now when you do the planning, when you put in the work, when nobody else will. Another thing that Peter just touched on was the idea of impossible. Some people hate the word impossible. I love the word impossible. The word impossible to me is a challenge. There's nothing about the word impossible that is fact. It's just an opinion, as Muhammad Ali said. Some of the greatest achievements in human history have been accomplished when people said it was impossible. So the 5 disciplines of the 12-week year, and Narissa talked about this, you've heard several people talk about this, it's all about your why. So when we talk about getting in the emotional cycle of change, it's called the Valley of Despair. Every single business person, every single person when going towards goal will experience this. There will come a time when the realism of how hard this is to achieve your goals and the amount of work it's going to take is going to get you down in the dumps. It happens to all of us. I've been through it. A couple of my business partners are here, and we've been through it as we've worked through our businesses, and it's tough. It's not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. And if you don't have your why, if you don't have a solid, secure why, then you're going to crack. You're going to give up. And then what happens? You're going to go back and start the cycle again. You'll choose a new business because that one wasn't working, and you'll start on that business, and then that one will get hard, and you create a mental, almost bookmark of quitting. And what establishing a solid vision does is that gives you that inspiration to keep going. So whether it's, hey, I'm going to make enough money so I can support my parents through their elderly years so I don't have to put them in an old folks home. I'm going to put my kids through college. I'm going to retire early. Whatever it is, that why has to be solid. The second thing is the plan. You've heard a lot of them talk about planning up here. You have to put together a written, executable plan. It's not good enough to have in your head. It's not good enough to just have it, stashed away. You have to write it. You have to check it. As everybody's alluded to up here, having a plan is absolutely crucial. The next thing is process control. So the 12-week year recommends 2 process controls. One that Jeremy talked on already, the weekly accountability meeting, and then your written plan. The weekly accountability meeting is actually finding one person, 2 people, a group of people that you're completely open and honest with, and you share your goals. If you have your goals and you keep them secret, then it's easy to get away with cheating. If nobody's watching you in the middle of the night, how easy is it to sneak into the fridge and grab a bowl of ice cream when you're trying to maintain your fitness goals? But if Narissa were standing behind you, you still think you would go in and grab that bowl of ice cream. It's called accountability. And it's not that you get together and beat each other up, it's just that you own your process, you own your results, you own your desires, and you share them with other people. So it's incredibly important that you actually, and Peter, as we talked about some of preparing for this, Peter had mentioned several times that goals are very, very personal. Sometimes it's to lose weight, sometimes it's other things that people don't really like sharing. Well, through this process, you're actually going to share those goals with the people closest to you because they're going to help hold you accountable. And then the other thing that's been mentioned a couple times is timing. So actually, let me skip back to measurement. Measurement is kind of the cornerstone of all of this. So there's no way in the world you can get to where you want to go if you don't know where you are. There's no way. So you have to be able to measure every single thing that you do toward going towards your goals. So most people, has anybody here heard of the term lead indicator and lag indicator? Anybody heard of those? Maybe the people that read the book. So everybody's really good at recognizing lag indicators. Lag indicators are actually a result. So you say, I want to go out and get $105,000 in new business this month, and then you do it. That is a lag indicator. You've achieved it. But equally as crucial that most people don't think about are your lead indicators. So those are the weekly, daily activities. Whether if you're in sales, it's I need to make 5 sales calls today, I need to call on 5 people, I need to send out 5 emails. Those are the lead indicators that are going to give you some sort of measurement that you're going to actually hit your target. And if you don't have those lead indicators, then you're flying half blind. So finally, the last of the 5 disciplines is time use. So obviously we know time is a commodity. We've talked about it here several times tonight. Jeremy talked about briefly time blocking. So you have to be incredibly diligent about protecting your time. It is your most valuable asset. And one of the things I read is that 30% of an average professional's time is actually spent on unnecessary distractions. So if you think about what Jeremy talked about being diligent, about protecting your time, about putting your phone down, it's really not that interesting on Facebook. It's just a bunch of people arguing politics and religion. Exactly. It's just a complete time waste. And the reason why we do that is because it's easier to do that than to sit down and focus on the things that are really necessary to get where we want. I personally have deleted Facebook, Instagram, all those things off my phone to, remove those options from me. So you have to protect your time. This is easily the most important part of my whole slide, mainly because I worry about all your personal hygiene. It's really important that you maintain it. So now, lastly, is the 1 cycle. So this is what you're going to go through every single week. And again, this is a really high-level view of the book, so we don't have the time to get into a lot of details, but I cannot stress it enough. Go out and pick up this book, read it, and start implementing it. It's something that I've done. But the weekly cycle is basically scoring your previous week, making sure that those goals aligned with your 12-week goals. At the end of the week, planning for the next week. As Jeremy said, planning beforehand, your mind is working subconsciously, so you have to plan out that next week. And then you have to have your weekly accountability meeting and actually measure your goals and score yourself. And that is a cycle you'll just repeat weekly and weekly. And I've had several people that have completed their first 90-day run with the 12-week year, and the results are actually stellar. And so what happens is, like that periodization, you build on top of every single result. So you have 12 weeks, and then you get that social proof of, holy cow, I did a 12-week run and I achieved every one of my goals. Now I'm going to do it again. And it starts to build and build upon each other. The picture I keep in my mind is, when you think of kids trying to build a pile of junk to get to the top of the refrigerator, to get to the cookie jar, to get to their goal, that's what you're going to be doing. So that is the execution solution. And before we leave, I just wanted to leave you with this one quick review.
The only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. And if you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going is that I love what I did. You've got to find what you love. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary.
So my favorite quote of all time is by Henry Ford, and it's completely true. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're absolutely right. So that is it. So lastly, I'd like to welcome up Mr. Jonathan De La Garza. How many of you have been to our previous events by show of hands? So then we might actually all have to make that smiley face that he does in the morning, first thing when he wakes up.
The big
Some of you won't get it, but Jonathan De La Garza has obviously created, some of you don't know, created the positivity pin. And in working with him over the past few weeks, he's a successful local entrepreneur. Working with Jonathan over the past few weeks, I can tell you that this isn't something that he just puts on for show when he gets here. This is actually an attitude and a lifestyle that he lives by. I have never seen this man be negative, say a bad word, or even be down in the dumps. This is a man who exemplifies and practices what he preaches. So, Mr. De La Garza.
Thank you, Cole. I appreciate it. Well, for time constraints, because some of the feedback we got before was we ran a little bit late, so I'm not going to really be able to touch on a lot of the principles that I have discovered with goal setting. I'll touch on a few because, to me, they're important. And I want to ask you here before I start, have you guys received some value already tonight from the speeches? Thank God, because that really makes my speech a lot easier. If it was silent, like nobody didn't get anything, the pressure was going to be on. But I'm glad you guys are getting some value, because this is amazing what these guys are sharing. So, one really powerful principle that I have discovered, it was a quote by Samuel Johnson. He lived in the 1700s, he was a writer. And before I tell you his quote, I want everyone in the room, to sit up straight. Okay, I would say a good 95% of everybody sat up straight. Now we all know that sitting up straight and having good posture is good for us, right? So Samuel Johnson's quote is this: we need to be reminded more than instructed. We all know that it's good to sit up straight, but sometimes we need the reminders. We all know it's good to set goals. Sometimes we need the reminders. So I encourage you guys, keep coming to these events, and if not this event, invest time in yourselves. Go to events where you're going to grow, because you never know what you're going to pick up. The second thing about goal setting is when you set a goal, you want to set a goal that has meaning. Because the why, if it's strong, the how gets easy. Some of you may or may not know, but I'm a real estate broker. And I had some really challenging times selling real estate. The real estate market would be up and it would be down, and there's some people in here, Chris, you're a real estate broker. When I was down and I wasn't selling any homes, I had a pretty big why on why I should set goals and sell homes, because I like to eat, and if I didn't sell homes, I don't eat. So there's some major reasons for setting goals, and these are kind of my favorite reasons. Goals help propel you forward. It was a long time, many years before I got into goal setting, when I didn't set goals, and I didn't really achieve much. But once I started setting goals, I started building self-confidence. I started to see these things that I thought were hard to achieve. When you set measurable goals, these hard, challenging goals, so one of my goals was to make $25,000 a month, and this was when I was living in Houston. And when I first set that goal, I thought, God, that's going to be really hard to do, because I was a waiter. Most of my life, I was a waiter. I took $25,000 a month. I mean, get out of here. I'd be happy if I could make $2,000 a month. But then when I started breaking it down, okay, how many houses do I have to sell to make that? Okay, how many houses in a week? It started to be measurable. So measurable goals, they make what could seem like a big goal into a small, more easily manageable goal. They help you believe in yourself. If you set a goal that you achieve, for example, that month that I made $25,000 in real estate, who do you think was like, that's what I'm talking about? Yeah. I mean, I felt so good about myself because I was able to hit that goal, and it propelled me to make higher and bigger and more ambitious goals. Oops. It improves your outlook on life, and it gives you hope. It gives you positive energy. When you're happy with your success and the things you do in life, you can't help but feel good about yourself. So here is the part that we are going to try to summarize. This is the goal setting workshop. This is, hopefully you guys brought something to write with, because this is an exercise, or a summary of an exercise that Mr. Jim Rohn does in his goal setting workshops. And it is incredibly powerful. So the very first thing I want you guys to do, everybody has a pen and your paper ready? We're going to start with step one, which is write down 5 things that you've already accomplished in your life that you're proud of. So write 5 things that you're proud of. It can be anything. Go back to your childhood. Maybe you bought a car that you've always wanted. You won a blue ribbon in high school for track or band. Maybe you quit a bad habit. You read a book you always wanted to read. Maybe you read the Bible all the way through. Traveled to some exotic place. We want to start with some recognition of some of the things that you've already done that you're proud of. Surely you've done 5 things. Maybe you met somebody you always admired. Got the courage to go up at a bar and talk to some pretty girl or guy. Finished a course that you've always wanted to finish. Me, got my real estate broker's license. That was a big deal for me. Bought a guitar I always wanted. That was a huge thing for me. Now the next part of the exercise is I want you to write 50 things. I want you to strive to write 50 things. If you can't, that's fine, but I want you to really stretch yourself. So the next exercise is going to be about 10 minutes. What do you want in the next 10 years? Write them one below the next, because we have an exercise we're going to do. And write as many things as you can. Now these are not things that you think that you can get. If everything fell into place for you, just keep writing. Write as many things as you can. Jim Rohn recommends writing 50 things down. I did it. I just did it this morning again. At about 35, it gets kind of hard. Just write anything. You can have anything in life that you want. What would you want? I mean, what would really do it for you? Like I said, we recommend about 50 if you can get to that in 10 minutes. Abbreviate if you need to. Write some stuff in code if somebody might be peeking over your corner or if someone would get a hold of your list. Maybe a place you want to visit. People you'd like to meet. Book you'd like to read. Have a role in a movie. Play in a rock and roll band. Buy a $500 bottle of wine at dinner. Achieve a certain fitness goal. Canoe down the San Antonio River. Run a marathon. Become a wine connoisseur. Parachute out of an airplane. Bungee jump. You can write these down too if you want. Win a gold medal in the Olympics. Just let your mind go. Start a new family. Maybe some habits you'd like to drop or some habits you'd like to start. Buy some investment properties. Have a personal chef. Hire a personal trainer. Exercise. Maybe learn to play an instrument. Take a cooking class. Grow your bank account to a certain figure. Hobby you'd like to start. Buy a new car. Maybe some skills you want to learn. You want to learn a second language. Become a professional speaker. Volunteer with your city. Maybe start a nonprofit. Open a restaurant. Write a book. Learn to scuba dive. Learn to paint. Take a carriage ride in New York City. Take some meaningful vacation. Go to an exotic beach. Just whatever would do it for you guys. If everything fell into place for you, The stars lined up perfectly, and you could have whatever you wanted. Not what you think you can get. That's not what this exercise is about. This exercise is about stretching your imagination. Because we find a lot of people set short-term goals, but not a lot of people set long-term goals. And maybe for some of you, going to Fiji is a goal you don't think you can have in a year, but maybe it's something that you could get in 5 or 10 years. Learn to ski. Go deep sea fishing. Make $1 million. Give $1 million away. Buy a Cuban cigar in Cuba. Learn to be a chef. Record a #1 song. Getting 10, 15, 20 is easy. Getting 50, as Brian Tracy said, is like squeezing water from a rock. It gets harder. You get to 50, it gets harder. The reason we like to suggest to try to get 50 is, as everyone on the panel said, we're so easily distracted. It's easy to write down 15 and then get your phone and check your email and check your Facebook. I'd like to encourage you guys, put your phones down, don't look at it. Because this exercise is for you. You guys paid money to come to this. Hopefully we can share some principles that will help you stretch. I venture to say that probably 1% of San Antonio has ever done this exercise. So you guys are doing an exercise that very, very few people do. Is anybody close to 50? All right. You just volunteered to come on stage. I think the challenging thing with this exercise is that a lot of people think, okay, what can I get? But like I said, that's why we reinforce it, not what you think you can get. You could have anything you wanted. This is a great exercise for kids to do. You should do it with your kids. Just a few more minutes left. Now, once you guys have your list, I want you to go down the list, give them each a number. The goals you think that you can accomplish in 1 year, put a 1 by it. The goals that you think will take about 3 years to accomplish, put a 3 by it. The goals you think will take about 5 years, put a 5 by it. And the goals that you think will take you about 10 years to achieve, put a 10 by it. If you think it's going to take longer than 10 years, just put a 10. If you think you could achieve one of them in less than a year, just put a 1. As an example, learn to play Hotel California on guitar. You could probably learn that in a year. Have a part in a movie may take you 5 years. Give you guys a couple of minutes to do that. Okay, have you guys done that? Now I want you to go through your list, look at the numbers of 1s, 3s, 5s, and 10s. And what we're going to want you to do is in that handout, there's a little insert. We want you to write the top 3 goals that you'd like to accomplish this year. And when you write them on there, we're going to ask you to put them in that envelope. Do not seal the envelope. Write your name and your address on the front. This is the accountability part. There's no envelope? No, there should be an insert in the handout. Should be an insert in the middle of the handout.
There's an insert with the 3 lines.
It says my top 3 goals.
No insert.
Jeremy's going to hand some out.
If you didn't get them, if you can raise your hand.
Within this year. Yep. 2015. Top 3 goals that mean the most to you that you'd like to accomplish by the end of 2015.
And don't seal the envelope, guys.
Do not seal the envelope. Put your name and your address in the front. This is the exercise we call accountability. Obviously,
How are you guys doing? Good. How are y'all doing?
sorry if my voice is putting you to sleep. I'm trying to talk softly so you're not distracted.
Jonathan has a Yoda voice.
Look down the list of goals that have a 1 by them. Pick the top 3 that you want to accomplish by the end of 2015. So don't, obviously you're not going to pick a goal that you think would take you 5 years and put that you expect to accomplish that by the end of 2015. But go through your list of goals that you believe will take you 1 year to accomplish. And of those number 1s, which 3 would you like to accomplish by the end of this year?
On the front is your name and address, your home address.
Name and address. Do not seal the envelopes.
Yeah, don't seal the envelope.
Obviously, guys, when you do achieve a goal on your list, it's important to set other goals. Super important to celebrate. That will help pull you towards your next goal. Whenever I close a house, I go out to a really nice dinner. Always inspired me to close more homes because I've got a really nice dinner time. Love to eat. You can tell.
That's before he comes to me.
Yeah. Top 3 goals that you'd like to accomplish, that you expect to accomplish by the end of 2015. Put those on the table. We'll pick those up shortly. Now, how many of you here have set and achieved an important goal in the past 6 months that you'd like to come on stage and share your experiences with the group? Does anybody here have the courage to do that? A goal that you've set and you've accomplished. Sam, please come up. Yeah. Too late. Give a hand to Sam.
You can do it, Sam.
So Sam, please come up. Tell us a goal that you set and how you feel about it.
Okay, well, I didn't know I was going to share, otherwise I'm going to raise my hand, but I'll take one with me. Well, at the beginning of the year, one of my goal sets was to lose weight, and I did that. I lost 30 pounds this summer.
How did you do that?
Working a lot. I do have a part-time job, and I work out in the heat, so running back and forth. healthier.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with the group. We appreciate it.
That's awesome.
Has anybody else accomplished a goal in the past 6 months that you feel comfortable coming up and sharing with the group? Please come. Let's give this lovely lady a hand. Is it Corinne or Green? Corinne. We've seen you at our other events.
This year, I had a goal of making $1 million. And in order for me to do that, I had to basically process a lot of accounts. And I have established that in the past 2 months, we're in the process of closing $128 million worth of processing, which would help me to make $1 million this year.
So, like I said, for time constraints, we're going to move on to the last section of our meeting today. And Peter's going to go over with you a really, really neat, simple tool on how to evaluate your business and your ideas and your opportunities. It's called a SWOT analysis. So, Peter, please explain a SWOT analysis.
SWOT. Thank you. Hey guys. Still here? How you doing? Yes, it's still awesome to have shared so much, accomplished so much. It was awesome to see all of you participating and enjoying the exercise. Doesn't it feel awesome to be focused and focus on something that is that impactful on your lives? Isn't that fun? Congratulations. Congratulations. What we wanted to share with you today is a simple concept that you can use every day in anything you do, either professionally through your company or in your career. Has anybody come across this SWOT concept before? Awesome. Fantastic. Beautiful. Great. So you've heard the strength, the weakness, opportunity, and threat. This is something we just wanted to introduce to you, and this is kind of an intro to the next mastermind session that's going to be in November. We're going to unveil this very, very, very soon. What I wanted to share with you is obviously the purpose of SWOT is to allow you to evaluate a concept, an idea. Anybody introduced a new product and service in your company? Anybody went into a new career? Anybody wanted to explore a new direction for your professional life? This is a good strategy. It's a simple step that you can take in order to evaluate the strength, the weakness, the opportunity, and threat, basically, of any of those things that we just discussed. So, for example, if you're introducing a new branch in your firm that you do not know if this is a good decision or a bad decision, you have to take the time to evaluate all those elements before you take action. So, in the analysis phase, it's very, very important. So, it's broken down into the 4 segments, basically the strength, the weakness, the opportunity, and the threat. And the ones on, well, that's your left side. So the left side is the going down is the helpful, and then obviously the harmful on the right side. And if you look at the top row, it's something that is basically done internally for the strength and weakness, and externally for the opportunity and the threat from a market standpoint. Keep that in mind. It's actually really important to look at it this way. Helpful, what's on the right, on the left. Harmful, what's on the left, on the right. And then internal is the top row, external, the bottom row. Certain things that you need to keep in mind, and again, I don't want to just dive in too much into it, but there are so many benefits that the SWOT analysis has and certain things that it doesn't do. So obviously, let's start with the limitations. It doesn't prioritize things for you. It doesn't solve anything for you. It doesn't have like a solution or alternate. It doesn't necessarily generate ideas, or it doesn't tell you which one is the best. Okay? It can produce a lot of information, but again, it's not always useful. So this is kind of the limitation that it has. The benefit that the SWOT analysis has is obviously it allows you to take a very good snapshot on that concept from all angles, in all levels, in all layers. It's really fun. And the more you practice it, obviously, the better you become. So understanding the business better, addressing certain weaknesses that you didn't know existed, or a specific, concept, range, idea. Avoid potential damage that could be anticipated or prevented. Opportunities can capitalize, which is a very, very big deal. And you can take advantage of the strengths that you have. A lot of times, we don't even know all the advantages that we have in our business, in our career. And also, that's one more reason we are sharing this with you guys today, is you develop business goals and strategies, and it helps you achieve them. So, food for thought. Keep that in mind for the next event. And I wanted to really, really congratulate you guys for being here today. You guys are awesome.
Jonathan talked about a goal we'd like to share that we set 6 months ago. 5 months ago, I set the goal of starting this mastermind group, of bringing people together for the purpose of collaborating and learning. Not just networking events where you leave empty-handed. I feel very confident if you participated in this exercise that Jonathan went through today, you're going to leave with your time very wisely invested today. People in San Antonio need to synergize, collaborate, and work collectively, not competitively. But putting these events on is something we can use your help and support. Something I said at the first mastermind was, asking for help is not a sign of weakness. Asking for help is a sign of wisdom. And so we'd like to offer some of our sponsorship opportunities today that we believe would be a win-win for a lot of business owners. The first one is, we call it the Napoleon Hill. We have an email, most of you are probably on our emails, very well-designed emails of more than 50,000 business owners in San Antonio. Next we have our social media accounts, a 60-second, that's where you can come up and pitch your business. I left off the business promo video, where we'll sit down and we'll shoot a promotional video endorsing you by the San Antonio Mastermind. We'll also have logos on our banners, and as you saw in our handouts, we have a social media tool of one of our mastermind members that is a proprietary product that pretty much catapults you to the top of the search engines on on Google, Bing, Yahoo. This can't be guaranteed by any means, but I'm here to tell you, if you're not on page 1 of Google, you don't exist. When your name pops up first, you've got the busiest store in the mall, and that's the goal. Another thing is, your website promotion on our San Antonio Mastermind website page that is going gangbusters on hits because we send you all there with the emails that we send out, and then a booth at some of our upcoming events. There's one more thing, I guess I left it off that I wanted to make sure I mentioned, is business coaching. You'll have the opportunity to have 2 of the mastermind members sit down with you in a conference room and go through a SWOT analysis of your business. Look at the tactics and help you outline the customers, define your customers. And so today, on the Hill package, you'll get the email blast, social media, and website promotion, which is an $850 value for $250. And every one of these bottom line prices we've decided tonight to give people only tonight 20% off. So that would be a $200 value. The next one, the Roosevelt, is email blast, social media, banners, SEO, website promotion for $500. And you can take 20% off the $500. Next is Ford. I'm glad we changed the name to that. And you can see where the boxes are X'd. The last one, of course, is the Andrew Carnegie. We could use your support. We're looking to grow these events, bring more people together, synergize, collaborate, and do what San Antonio has rejuvenated this whole mastermind concept. So thank you again. See me afterwards. I'll be up here at the front if you're interested in the tonight only 20% discount on these packages. And I believe it will definitely be a win-win for everybody here. Thank you.
All right, guys, how are we doing? No, how are we doing? Okay. All right, guys, we want to thank you again so very much, but there are a few things that I wanted to go over. Specifically, don't forget that if you did not get your gift certificate, please come and see me. If you didn't get it, haven't received it from the mixer that we had last month, please come and see me. We want to thank Tacos and Tequila again. Also, our next mixer, October 13th, is going to be at Tacos and Tequila, TNT. So we hope you all make it out there. You'll be receiving more information about that. It's going to actually be, and this is our other announcement, we are also branching out to San Antonio Women's Mastermind. So, this is open to everyone, men and women. So if you're interested in getting on that list, please also come and see me. I can take all your email and your name down. We'll get the names as well from the list that we received today. But please come and talk to me afterwards if you're interested in being a part of San Antonio Women's Mastermind. Our first event is going to be in November. We already have 2 phenomenal speakers. And again, we'll be doing the mixer October 13th at TNT, so we hope to see all you guys out there. We'll be sending out more information on that. We also have the SAMmbassadors. If you don't know, we're going to have Colton. You can come talk to Colton. If you're interested in being a part of, volunteering, or participating with San Antonio Mastermind as far as trying to be more involved, please come and talk to Colton afterwards and he can give you more information on that. We do have some ambassadors in here, so if you could please stand up. Where are you? Please stand up. If we can give them a hand, please. They help us out tremendously. There are a lot of their meetings, volunteering, giving us great feedback. And that's the other thing is don't forget you will be receiving a survey. If you can please remember to fill that out and email it back to us. The biggest thing is that's where we get our ideas from. That's where we know where we can better ourselves and also maybe our next theme and so forth that we can help you all out with. So please keep that in mind. Also, don't forget your badges, guys. If you can leave those at the front, please, or if you want to leave them on the table, or do you prefer on the table, or?
Yeah, just, if you love them, you can take them. We try to decide.
If you know your name, you don't need to take them, but,
so Colton's going to acknowledge one of our SAMmbassadors, and we're going to give him credit for that word, SAMmbassador. He's a very creative guy, but go ahead and explain what the purpose of the SAMmbassadors and acknowledge someone.
So the purpose of the SAMmbassadors is really, anytime the powerful, as mentioned, what was mentioned earlier, is a powerful concept behind what we're doing here. Is this isn't a networking event. This is a collaborative event. So we don't want to always just be the single solitary source of direction for this group. So we want people from within this group to get further within this group and collaborate, help us direct where you think the vision should go, etc. So we came up with the idea of this ambassador. So it's basically our tribe of people. You are all our tribe that are going to go out and help promote this event and make it more dynamic and get everybody involved. So we set forth with the SAMmbassadors. So we had a little contest for the SAMmbassador that could get the most people to this event through a little through the Eventbrite registration we did. And the winner of that wins a $25 gift certificate to Starbucks and another $25 to Barnes & Noble, and that was Miss Christy Summers. So, thank you, Christy, great job. So again, see me after the event if you're interested. It doesn't require a lot of time. We'll either do the Facebook group, and it's just helping out. It's as simple as passing out flyers and getting the word out about the event. Because does anybody here feel that they haven't gotten value out of this event? Anybody? I dare you to raise your hand. I'll come off the stage. Oh, we're no longer business partners. I mean, for $15, $20, I think, can we all agree that you got an absolute ton of value out of it? So we're really out of this ambassadors, and out of all of you, and you're all basically ambassadors, but we need out of you just to help promote the event so that we help this grow, because the larger we get the group, the more diverse, the more dynamic we get it. So thank you.
And guys, also the San Antonio Women's Mastermind does have a Facebook page, so you can go and like it. And if you have any questions for any of us or have anything that you'd like to add, please come see us after the event. But I think
I do have one thing to add also. I'm going to be setting up my video camera outside, and the whole collaboration thing is so powerful. So if anybody wants to share a goal-setting tip or principle that you use, we would love to get it on film. And it's a great way to promote your business. Now, I don't have a lot of time because of the time constraints of the venue, but I'd like to get a couple of people, maybe 4 or 5 on video, real short. This is what I do. And I forgot to mention this during my speech. You know, I've gone to a lot of events and taken tons of notes, copious pages of notes. And 2-3 months later, I don't refer to it. So I would get frustrated. And I would say, why don't they simplify it? So without getting too lost in my train of thought, I wanted to tell you this. This is what I do. Because I would always wonder, okay, yeah, write down goals, blah, 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 that's what they'd say. And I'd go home and I'd still be confused. Why don't they make it simple for a dummy like me? This is what I do. And what I do may work for some of you, it may not. Find out what works for you. Listen to many different goal-setting teachers and coaches and find out what works for you. Because what works for Jeremy may not work for me. What works for Jeremy down there may not work for you. So this is what I do. In the morning when I wake up, I write down my goals. And I think about them all day. When I go to bed, I look at those goals again. And I ask myself when I'm in bed, did I work as hard as I could to achieve that goal? Sometimes I'm disappointed, other times I'm not. So write down specifically what you want. Just the act of writing it down makes something happen in the universe. I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you this selling real estate. I would go for many, many months marketing homes. I'd get frustrated because my sales would be down. I'd get up in the morning and I'd start writing down my goals. I want to sell 4 houses a month. I want to sell 4 houses a month. I mean, I'm a man of simple needs. I want to sell 4 houses a month. And I would do that religiously. Within about a month, miraculously, 4 contracts would land in my lap. I was doing the exact same thing I was doing before, except I was writing down my goals twice a day and reviewing them. It's just a simple thing. I can't explain it. It's magic. It's the universe telling you, I'm going to reward you for this effort. So guys, there's something magic about writing it down. I encourage you to do that. Maybe you need to do it, maybe you don't. But if you don't do it, what do you have to lose? If you do it, what do you have to gain? So see me afterwards. I'm going to be over there to get a little video interview from anybody that wants to share. Thank you. Anybody else want to add anything? Guys, thank you all for coming.